When they made America truly great, this is where its greatness was forged. Bethlehem, Pennsylvania sent the steel for its skyscrapers, battleships and bridges. It is empty and unused now, except for guided tours from former plant workers like Don Young.
And these two wings, for which the stone walls are standing.
His marriage to Barbara has lasted 20 years, but is being tested now in this most divisive of elections. Both Republicans, she is for Trump, he is emphatically not.
I've seen the rise of dictators in history, and, Mr. Trump's campaign literally mirrors that of Adolf Hitler, and he's been called that. I think he's going to run America into the ground because he does not observe any of the democratic norms that his predecessors have.
And Barbara, I can tell from your hat you probably don't agree with that.
I absolutely do not agree with that, and I'm sorry to hear my husband say this. President Trump reminds me of my own father. He was very strict, and he was very tough, and he kept his promises.
Their town has recovered from the collapse of Bethlehem Steel, but it's the state of America that worries Barbara now. And it is Donald Trump, she says, who can save it.
He is the future for America. I don't want to see people coming over our border. We've had women murdered and raped by illegal immigrants. Who wants that?
What's it like being in a marriage where one of you thinks Trump is the future, the other one thinks he's Hitler?
Well, as for me, I just have to ignore and turn my back and realize that we each have our own choices to make in life. I'm not responsible for what my husband says or does.
Is it difficult in the marriage to have that bigger difference?
We just don't talk about it at home.
It's the same for so many Americans, as divided between themselves as their nation. America has never seen an election this close, this negative and this dirty. And that is being felt most of all in places like this, the most important swing state of them all. Donald Trump won Pennsylvania in 2016 by less than 1%. And Joe Biden took it back 4 years later by around the same margin. But polls suggest now it is split right down the middle.
And we take that very seriously.
In Tom DeBroyle's Bethlehem Santa Claus store, it is Christmas Day every day, but there has been no season of goodwill this election.
I think it's incredibly divided. I think a lot of times people will not talk about it in social settings because it's too divisive and you could potentially lose friends that way. I hope after the election that people can start to come together. Because otherwise, I think our country's in for another long 4 years, whoever wins.
Samira, how many other orders you have?
Further up Main Street, we met Michael, whose restaurant has, he says, been the scene of far too many political arguments. How bad does it get?
Bad to where some tables will walk up and leave their food there and just pay the tab and just walk out because they don't want to be next to a Republican, So some of them take it to heart.
Feelings are running high.
Yes, they are.
A young nursing
For Don and Barbara, the election has brought disagreement and acrimony, and they can't wait for it to come to an end. Can your marriage survive a Trump victory?
Certainly.
Do you think so, Barbara?
I think so. Probably so. I just have this pain in my heart thinking that my husband's going to cancel out my vote for President Trump. So there's nothing I can do about it. We all have our own choices. I can't wait till this is over and we know, and President Trump will be president, and then you have nothing more to say.
No, I probably will have things to say, but it'll just be opinion, right?
But you can't wait for it to be over.
I can't wait for it to be over, no.
The election will be over in a few days. The bitterness and disagreement that have plagued it, less so in this deeply divided country. Dominic Waghorn, Sky News, Bethlehem.